when I was preparing the last video, it occurred to me that I wasn't seeing the outboard motor that I'd left there for that green canoe. Kind of sucks, which means the stuff up there is not as secure as I thought. Nothing else seems to have been touched. This kind of panicked me and Jim, so I am heading up there. Beautiful Sunday. Kind of sucks. I could get a lot of work down here done, but I just need to kind of be up there. So it's supposed to be raining the whole week, so this should be fun. It's a great video. So I'll head up there and work during the day, like my job, but then I'll be right there, so you know I can work through my lunch and after hours. Oh yeah. Game changer. The other thing is I get to drop off frack, what do you call those things? IBC totes, and hopefully set up temporary water harvesting system while I'm up. Of course I'll bring you along. Should make an interesting noise cruising down the freeway, but I've been driving with them pretty much all week, so yep, I'm very anxious to get there, you know, because the Scion's up there, and you know, we got two chainsaws sitting in the Scion, very well hidden in the sono tubes, but they're up there all the same. And then at the end of the week, my brother's going to bring his car up, and he's going to ditch it up there because he's going to be moving soon. He can't bring it with him. So anyways, see you guys up there. Yeah, we're all packed up, and these are the stakes that I got to drive through the heart of whoever freaking ripped off the motor. Anyways, hitting the road. You guys remember the bathhouse. Simple structure with a tub, toilet, catching water, and a solar array up on top. That's what we're going to be working on this weekend, at least getting started. This is what it's really going to look like. Simple wood structure, 8 feet tall in the front, 6 feet tall on the back, catching water and solar. Single pitch roof, no barn door. The floor plan is really simple. That's going to be a Murphy bed. This week we're going to be working on the concrete pier foundation. There's 6 of them, and that's where they're going. Big bits of concrete. This is what they look like. 5 bags of concrete each, 4 pieces of rebar, lots of blood, sweat, and so many tears. We're going to be making 6 of those. Well, I've arrived at my Airbnb, and I got the upgrade. Pretty excited about this. Wasn't quite sure how it was going to be an RV in Florida. I'll tell you what, it is super spacious. I can't stand up in there, but that's not the point of being in there. Here I can totally stand up. I'm not even close to the ceiling. AC's cold, refrigerator and freezer is cold. Most important part, but of course that was mine. These people couldn't be nicer. Good to go. All right, let's head to the lot. Made it to the lot. I feel like this is some kind of an omen. It was waiting to catch me up. Well, sorry, I run this place. The good news is I don't see any pickaxe sticking through any of the windows. It does look like my super awesome water ploy. Oh wow, this has got a decent amount of water in it from my high-tech water catcher. So, good news, the car's fine. The bad news, I left the keys to the car back at the Airbnb. So that super simplifies what I'm going to be doing today. I was going to cut rebar and finish cutting the lumber. That's not going to happen because all my cutty stuff is inside the car. Wow, look at that. It does look a bit wastelandish, but I'm glad for the rain we've gotten because that will have tamped down the dirt. And frankly, me pulling the IBC tote over to the corner there is going to cause it to flatten somewhat. But I can also confirm there is no outboard motor here. The schmucks cut the links. Not the schmucks that were here last week. That was Jim. I am disappointed in my fellow man, nobody else. Anyways, that's why I'm here, is make sure that this stops. Too tempting a target, I suppose. I hope whatever need they had for the engine was greater than mine, and they're getting lots of good use out of it. So I'm going to start pulling IBC totes off, and yeah, right here talking. Anyways, like Odysseus, I'm going to go lean against my olive tree and stake out my future palace. So talk to you later. I've never been here late enough or had a clear enough space to see a sunset. There it is. That's pretty okay. So I didn't get much that I had intended to get done today on account of, you know, leaving the keys to the car. What I did do is determine, we lost the stakes. So I found the pin on the southeast side, pulled, I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, there's the flag there in the back. All that string there was just buried under all that rubble. So I pulled that clear and got a straight line, all of that, so we can place There's 2 stakes right there. I'm not really sure. That's the corner of our 8x8. I think, I don't actually have a tape measure, but I paced out 20 feet from either direction. That's more than enough space because we're going to make the road 10 to 12 feet wide. We want the corner to be extra wide for when we have trailers. So I figured 20 feet is good enough. So I'll be back first thing in the morning to get some work in before I start my office work. Have a good night. I'm letting the silence go so you can hear my awesome office noises. My office is usually pretty quiet because I don't have many humans around, but this is pretty exceptional. I don't have many canoes in my office either. So it's a beautiful morning. Just got off a meeting and I was just really appreciating what a cool setup this is. It's nice to be able to work in the middle of a freaking forest. I just want to thank all of you watchers for making this possible. This isn't that kind of channel. I appreciate you guys. Love you all. I'm here working in this freaking office because me and my wife put me through all the years of building a career so I can work in the middle of a freaking forest. And of course my parents gave birth to me and, you know, my kids put up with me and all that crap, but it's still pretty sweet, I gotta say. All right, cool. I was afraid somebody stole my T-square. Not sure if that was them trying to make off with my rake or if it just shifted. We're gonna just go with shifted. Yeah, I'm fairly ready to commit to the corner that we found yesterday. I care a little bit less than I did yesterday whether or not this is perfectly square corner. The important part is, man, where'd they go? Somebody stole my stakes. Oh, nope, here they are. So where this is less important as where the next one is. At lunchtime, I'm gonna go and pick up kind of the first shipment of cement and big 4x6 beams, and that will enable me to lay them on the ground so I can actually like pull a tape measure against it, make sure that I'm square to the lot. Because I'll tell you what, if I build something that is not perfectly squared to the shape of the lot, I will twitch forever. All right, well, I got servers to patch. So funny thing, the keys to the Scion are in Jim's truck. I hate having things in my pocket. I unlocked this Scion because it's got everything in there I need. Gloves, you know, the chainsaws, everything. But I unlock it and then I put the keys away and put my backpack back down. By the time I get to the Scion, the security feature has relocked the car. As a security guy, I appreciate that. As a dude having to walk back and forth in the heat, I'm getting a little freaking frustrated. Easy solution. I just gotta get my own head out of my own butt. So it's lunchtime. I'm getting ready to head over to Home Depot to pick up the lumber and the cement. But first I had to get the IBC totes off the back of the truck because can't fit those in 15 bags of cement and a bunch of beams all at the same time. I wanted to make sure that these didn't come up missing while I was gone. There's these kids that keep going by. They're on their bikes. They're going fishing. I don't think they mean any harm, but they are clearly trying to, I don't know, they're just making funky noises. Probably the exact same thing me or Jim would have done. Stare at some weird dude on his lot and make odd grunting noises just to prove that we're stupid. I don't remember why we would have done that, but I recognize the drive. But yeah, let me show you what we did. Obviously, there's lots of points of failure here. If they wanted to, they can saw through the wood, saw through the chain, although this is going to take a bit more time than that last one. Try to bolt cutter through the lock, but it's pretty tight in there. Obviously, the easiest way would be to snipper through. You know, these are just aluminum. Maybe those are steel, those are aluminum. But then they'd be wrecking the integrity of the thing they're trying to steal. But I made sure to loop them through a few different, they'd have to really go to town snipping on them to get them out. I should have asked Yin if he minded me using his vinegar cherry coke dipping chains, but he wasn't here to ask, so Jim, maybe you can pass that along to him. I'm gonna conduct a little test here. So I have no idea how far along into the video this will be, but kids, if you're still watching this, text me rutabaga. Yeah, doesn't have to just be my kids, but they're the ones I'm really curious if they see any of these. If anybody else wants to text me rutabaga, you got my number. All right, I'm gonna patch a few more servers and then head to lunch. So, rutabaga. Looking forward to those. That should be enough concrete. plus this. Actually, that's only half. So I just had the most awkward conversation at interaction at Harbor Freight. Anytime I get a big something, I always ask the same question. You gonna bag that for me? I asked it to the Home Depot people when I got this. I asked it to both the boy and the girl combo that loaded the lumber, the same thing, and they all do the same thing. They just laugh, ha, it's just a dad joke. You know, I am a nerdy computer guy. I don't really have a large repertoire. I don't know how in the world I ever managed to attract my super beautiful wife. But anyways, so I'm at Harbor Freight. I buy this and I say, you gonna bag that for me? And she giggles and brushes her hair and says, in your wildest dreams. And I just about tripped walking out of the store. It's like, what the freak does that mean? I wasn't trying to flirt with you, woman. It's good gosh. So luckily I asked the question after the purchase, because now I can't go back to the store, man. I'm gonna have to drive another 30 miles to go to another Harbor Freight, because I'm not going back there. No way. Good gosh. Women. So I'm not saying I've had a bad luck day. I'm just sort of a day behind. So I'm going to try to make this start to be lucky by my first steak being what looks like a natural shillelagh stick from Ireland. Oh, we're getting close to sunset again. We got our borders all nice and defined. That gave me something to pull tape on. And we got our first hole dug. Let me turn it around. That is really deep. Honestly, I didn't think sand could hold that form. Tell you what, this thing makes the most satisfying thud. Like when you're down there, you can just feel the whole earth shaking. Now you're gonna know what it feels like to be a form being lifted into place. That's what the form looks like. That's almost where it needs to be. Problem is I don't have gravel and it's getting late. I'm going to leave this where it is. That's where the concrete's going to stick up. And then the beam will just go across that away. Gravel in the middle, some rebar, fill it up with concrete, and then do it 5 more times. I'm about to die. All right, buttoning up for the night. One final thing I had to do. It's supposed to rain tomorrow, and I need tomorrow to be super focused on concrete. And if it rains tonight, I have created that contraption there as a total poor man's water catchment system. So let's do a little show and tell. So I got my big fancy Harbor Freight tarp strapped up to the top of the boat shack. I got these T stakes creating sort of a, if not a perfect funnel, then at least a suggested funnel down into here. And then I have this weighted by this very fancy and super expendable wrench here, but the good thing is that it's got this end on it. So now remember this, well, first of all, let's double check. That's the inside of an IBC tote, folks, but there's nothing in there. So if there's anything in there tomorrow, I am a fluid dynamics genius. If not, well, then obviously it didn't rain. So I'm happy with that for now. If that works, then we'll rig up something for the second one tomorrow. My other hope is that between the super heavy Yin chain that I have on there and the fact that it's obviously going to harvest water, whoever the reprobates are in this neighborhood that decide that they want to pilfer my stuff will say, oh, this guy is trying to survive up here by capturing a fundamental need like water. So we're going to let that go and just take a boat. Go ahead and grab the yellow one, folks. And to continue to test my theory with my kids, or whoever else, if you're still watching, text me Lois Lane. I'm trusting that my kids' super competitive natures won't have them text each other and say, hey, be sure to text Dad Lois Lane. In fact, if any of you kids want to throw off your siblings, tell them to text me Superman or something else. Then I'll know that they didn't actually watch. If all of them text me that, I'll know that this is the one exception to their competitive nature, and then there'll be a pop quiz at the end of this. It was so nice. A lady drove by I get a lot of just looky-loos come and slow down, especially now that we've got the eastern entrance just so wide open. And she saw that I was here and she rolled down her window and she's like, "It looks very nice." I was touched. So good neighbors. All right, I'm packing up. I know I keep saying that, but I mean it this time. Oh crap. I've got 900 extra pounds of weight in the truck, and the road into my Airbnb is pockmarked like the surface of the moon. Like it looks like a battlefield. I'm really afraid I might have to get creative. I'll let you know what I do. I'm definitely not taking 900 pounds of concrete over those bumps. I'm pretty sure those shocks would just give up and be like, "Nope, we're done. We are a fruit stand now instead of a truck." Okay, I'll let you know. So the inside of the truck looks awful different. Taking this for my kids' benefit. Not only is your dad doing good stuff, but he is working out. This really cool workout called 15 reps of 60-pound cement bags carried. First loaded into the truck, then put 2 at a time into that wheelbarrow, travel down here, and loaded into there. Gonna be super ripped by the time this is done, or dead. One of the two. This is Dr. Daniel Jackson. We have secured the dig site for the night. No archaeological artifacts will be compromised by the rain. Dr. Jackson out. All right, I'm gonna try to hold this camera as still as possible. All right, now we get into the fun part. I'm trying to miss these as much as possible. Then you get into crap like this that you just can't miss. And if you try to go on either side of it, you can actually high center a truck. There's no chance my Scion would make it through this. Okay, so that is a good old-fashioned mud slick that we're going to avoid. Look how deep it is. Good heavens. Okay, there's no good way through this part. Yeah, I feel you. That leads us out to the main road. Thanks for coming. Good morning. Obviously, I'm back on the lot. Yeah, the new thing today is this 1,000-pound bag of rock. First of all, I went searching for my little bag of rock that I bought when I did the mailbox posts and can't find that. I'm sure it's buried. I don't think anybody cared about a, $7 bag of rock. But I was looking for this special aggregate 3/4 inch 57 stone. And this is the smallest bag the Home Depot sold. 1,000 bloody pounds. I was like, there is no way that's real. But I showed up and there it was. So glad I didn't show up in the Scion. I mean, you should have seen that thing squat. I instantly kicked myself when they forklifted that thing in there and the whole truck just went, eee. I wonder if I could do a time lapse as I shovel this stuff out. I'm gonna try that, see what happens. So we're gonna just sort of plop it right there because it's, I'm gonna use just under half of it. Oh, sorry, this is for the, this goes at the bottom of each footer. About 3 to 4 inches of this stone, which is gonna leave me about 600 pounds left over, and it's going right there. I don't need to go through the effort of, that's not the workout plan that I signed up for. And if somebody helps themselves to it, well, whatever. At that point, this whole bag was, I think, $65. Anyways, I'm gonna get to work. I thought I recognized these things as I drove over them. These are my favorite Harbor Freight gloves. And since I could never go back to Harbor Freight, it was worth the walk to pick them up. If I've edited this together correctly, you'll have seen, I always get this off center. Maybe my head shape funky. What was I saying? I got the rock shoveled out. Isn't that what everybody does during their lunch hour? Actually, it only took me maybe a half hour. Kids, your dad is still working out. So let's see, that was 900 pounds of cement I moved yesterday twice. Today was 1,000 pounds of rock. Tell you what, those massage chairs back at the office, those are feeling pretty good, or sounding pretty good right now. I'm having a bit of a motivational problem right now. Really being motivated enough to figure out what the next best steps are. Because it just feels like we're circling around the landing strip of pouring these columns and just not committing to the landing. But I got the rocks over there, at least, you know, a good chunk of them. And there's the first dig site. I think Dr. Jackson secured them yesterday. Hashtag Stargate SG1, not that crazy movie. I guess probably the best thing to do at this point is still need to cut the rebar and then build the bases, because I don't have a working model yet. So let's do that. I'm going to cut the rebar. That shouldn't take long. Then I'll get back to patching servers. I'd say I need a caffeine jolt, but I just finished a monster, so this is me on a caffeine jolt. So I guess the fact that it got a 52-year-old through 1,000 pounds of gravel in the Florida noon heat is pretty remarkable. Go Monster. So I'm all packed up right as the sun's about to set. I'm leaving a bit earlier than normal, 6:20. You know, the one post we got sunk today is protected. I'm sure Dr. Jackson will be along to certify it safe. Speaking of sci-fi, I realized today I feel like I'm on Dune. In Dune, they recycle all water. I mean, all water. Like when it rained and a puddle pooled up here and, you know, my seat, I walked it over to that thingy there and I dumped the water in because I need every piece of water I can get. I think we are all buttoned up. See you guys in the morning. Oh, that's pretty. Yep.
Huh?
We're over there waiting for you.
I'm scared he's gonna knock me over.
Well, good morning. Just got here at the lot. Got a meeting in a few minutes, but I just wanted to check and see Simpson strong tie that we cast in place with the footer that then attaches to the 4x4. See if it's, well, strong. Because the rain got everything so wet yesterday in that last cement load, I don't know, just kind of nervous. Haven't checked yet. Let's find out together. I don't know how much or little it rained last night, but my little water catchment system is extremely underwhelming. Okay, obviously, you know, I was here last night jumping my bike off of this. I got quite the run up, just woohoo, right into that. It was great. All right. Dude, that's freaking solid. Yes. That is a toe stubber right there, I'll tell you that much. I am super happy with that. So just 5 more to make. Yeah, my brother shows up tonight, and so tomorrow, hopefully we'll get the last 3 done. I'm gonna hopefully get 2 done today. We'll see. My office scheduled a meeting at lunch. It's like, hey, that's my work time. I have been severely dehydrating myself. You know, being a Boy Scouty type, I get what that means and what it looks like, and so I need to actually take a break and eat lunch and drink. I've been bringing like 3 water bottles and a Gatorade with me, and I need to get like 2 gallons of water and a couple of Gatorades in me each day. My bad, kids. Anyways, a good morning to you. That's about as big a burn pile as I can come up with in this super damp environment, and hope to manage while I'm still getting stuff done. Not exactly a bonfire. That's a little better. I'm overheated. Not overheated. I'm just working out in the heat, and this is what my face does. Yeah, I sort of created a collapse. I should really get some sort of a fashionist step stool done into these things, because this is the second time this has happened. Give me an opportunity to show you exactly how committed North Florida is to its sand. Hang on. I mean, that's just a lot of sand. I'm already down 2 feet, and it's not even pretending to be dirt. I decided to make, for these last 2 holes, just a ditch, because digging down into a 2-foot hole is really hard on the back. So when I can sink down with the 2-foot hole, it's definitely worth it for those, you know, couple of cubic feet of sand that I have to shovel up, you know, so I can comfortably set the 18-inch form down, or base down into it. So we're not talking about a lot of extra space, and it'll help with leveling things and just everything, you know, being able to get down there with the rebar, because that was a pain having to like work the rebar while like crawling into a 12-inch diameter sonotube. Lots of lessons I learned yesterday, haven't processed yet, but I'm just babbling, so I'm going to hang up the phone. Talk to you guys later. Well, there it is. I had to refortify the part there. It kept slipping, but it doesn't need to last much longer. Definitely the deepest sandcastle I ever dug. Skills required are not that dissimilar, but the tools you get, way different. You just have to embarrass yourself at Harbor Freight to get those. So anyways, lunch is over, and I have a meeting soon, so see you guys in a bit. Next is gravel, rebar, forms concrete. Lovely. So I just had a guy come down the street, which that's a first. Obviously the truck was in the way, so I just took a break from, you know, cement mixing, well, which I haven't started yet, to come and build. Well, first of all, I chopped down that big tree that used to lean over the walkway. Then I just sort of used some of that gravel to give me a target to park on. We'll see how easy that is when I actually come to park the thing. I'm just always so afraid of getting stuck in this loose leaf crap. So I was out there trying to build another form, and I hear this. I thought it was the wind, and I was like, wow, that's peaceful. Then I looked to the east, couldn't see the treetops. I had just enough time to grab everything electronic around me and dive into the car. Unfortunately, I left my sonotube out there. I'm half tempted to jump out and get it. Oh man, is my hat out there getting wet? I might have to go mount the rescue mission. Go ahead and say it. I look like Obi-Wan Kenobi. My cool hood. Just young Padawan. Close enough for government work. This is Dr. Daniel Jackson. We've buttoned up the archaeological dig site. End of day 4. We've gotten down to 3 pylons. Nearly left modern day contrivance. That would definitely violate the prime directive if the indigenous people found that they were being held back technologically. Base camp, button down, water harvesting system, still not doing anything. Shuttlecraft locked, made contact with 2 local life forms. Just a moment ago, I was stopped by a local hunter and gatherer. Whoa! Just tripped over my own tripwire. Local hunter and gatherer looking for a place to park while he hunts. Offered me a percentage of his kill if he killed anything on our property. Created a new parking place for the truck. Dr. Jackson out. Well, good morning. It's a grand soft morning, as William Wallace said, or somebody on the movie. We are expecting nice rains today. I need to go get the wheelbarrow turned right side up so I can be capturing this water. I'll catch up with you. Ta-da! Tell me I'm not the picture of rugged outdoor rain gear handsomeness. Well, that's certainly water I can use. I am super grateful it didn't burst because that would flood the crap out of my footings. All in all, man, I am one fortunate dude. Of course, that's one from yesterday. I think I could uncover this one now. Let the rain clean it off. Got the wheelbarrow there, catching water. I'm gonna go grab a bucket and start bailing that water out. Oh yeah, my super genius plan worked. That's like 3 or 4 bags of cement worth. Look at that, get some more. All down to MacGyver and YouTube. The rain, holy crap, what's going on? I am Mike Moadib. I've brought water to the desert. So, look who showed up.
Camera's beeping.
Yeah, that means either the battery's dead or it's out of film. My brother showed up. Those of you who aren't related to him or know him from childhood, that's my brother. And he is getting right to work. So anyways, we got the second one in there. That's exactly 8 feet from the first. And now we're filling this one. Nice to have a team getting this done again, because frankly my back was breaking. So he's got a younger back than me, so I appreciate him coming. So I think we can get those other 3 pillars in today, so tomorrow we can just go to church and hit the road. Talk to you later. I'm going to video you. And I videoed that. Are you missing a tooth there? That was in your mouth. Yep. This is why we have little brothers. We can sit here in the chair and heckle them while they do their work for them.
Something just split.
Still don't care. He is a professional fabricator. I keep trying to tell him these are going to be 24 inches underground for the rest of their lives, and he's still being professional. I suppose that's a good problem to have.
Yep.
All right, we're back. Day 6. I think we lucked out. You know what? We probably should have put the canopy over the tomb that we dug, but it doesn't look like it rained. Let me turn it around. The fact that almost no water accumulated in my best, most successful water catcher is an indicator. That's it. I think we'll be able to handle that. So if I can get my super lovely assistant to do the big reveal. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, it grew into a Harbor Freight bucket. Ooh, that's a tilter.
Yeah.
Wow. We're shimming that. Crap. Oh well, this is what it is. Want to give it a shake to see if it's at least solid?
Oh yeah.
Solid. All right. Well, bummer. And the problem is we're going to leave these wet. So I have to leave this up even though I'm out of town. And not optimal, but it is what it is. So we're going to get to work. So as you can see, we took the plunge and parked our first automobile on the actual driveway. That's a first. It's rained enough here that this stuff is fairly well packed down, but it was still kind of sketchy. Well, we're out of here. We've buttoned things up about as good as we can. I think I might rip these off just long enough to get a picture, then I'll put them back on. But yeah, it's pretty soggy here. Didn't accomplish everything I wanted to this weekend, but I accomplished enough. And we're at a good stopping point. But we had a lot of highlights. You know, we got cars parked on the property. You know, we had the truck on the actual driveway, which just throws the crap out of me. Let me spin this around. Well, first I'll go rip that crap off. Be back. So there they are. So next time I'm up here, I'll put the beams on there and start building the floor. But for now, we got to keep these three over here covered up from the rain. This first one's okay. Those two, we just poured those today, so we're all buttoned up, got the truck parked where we want it, so we are heading out. Thanks for coming along with me this week, and we will see you guys next time. Take care.